out on the tarmac with another nomadic musical tribe.
That dire straight. The 10 minutes out.
Before meting out their heavy metal intensity to yet another anonymous foreign language crowd.
Istanbul, man. Can you tell?
Yeah, we're world travelers, motherfucker.
I was wondering.
After 2 hours of solid thrash for metal-hungry Muscovites, it's backstage for an orgy with dozens of groupies.
There's 50% chicks out in the house.
Or at least a discussion about the audience's gender demographics.
50 chicks.
Oh!
15,000 guys.
Then back to the hotel to lie around in a self-indulgent stupor.
Your bag's in 10 minutes.
10 minutes?
Yeah.
Fuck you. How am I gonna clean this up in 10 minutes?
Then down to the lobby to pay the bill for the crates of champagne and the traditional trashing of the hotel room.
Big winner.
Room service. Had a sandwich and a grapefruit. $38.
Hey, I had caviar omelet. Sandwich and a grapefruit from across the road.
I didn't get anything and it cost me $40.
The fact is, stamina and professionalism are what's required to survive in a grueling tour like Metallica's, which has lasted for over 2 years, seen them do hundreds of shows, and taken them not once but twice around the world. As Metallica head north for the last few dates of their tour, an advance party in the form of production manager Jake Berry surveys the seemingly peaceful suburban setting of Milton Keynes Bowl.
60,000 wild metal maniacs will be out there. It'll be a massive denim and black t-shirts. Mayhem.
While the band enjoy the relative comfort of the tour plane, with all its ups and downs, miles below them, 400 tons of gear in 25 trucks grinds its way through day and night on its way to the next date. Up to 32 drivers put in almost 250,000 miles on the European leg alone. After a 1,400-mile haul from loadout in Finland, trucks arrive precisely on schedule in Milton Keynes, England, to disgorge their cargo, a rock extravaganza boxed and ready to blast.
I am very much a rock and roll sort of person. I ran away from home when I was 21 years old, married my two interests, a love of heavy machinery and rock and roll, and that's what I do now. Hi, this is Florida. I'm on the periphery road of the Milton Keynes.
A no man's land awaits an occupying army, which will plant its heavy metal flag on a featureless terrain, an empty stage in an empty field, ready to be inhabited by a self-contained mini-culture.
We have our own sound, we have our own lights, we have our own power, we have our own equipment. So really, if we actually showed up in a field, we could do a show. You know, we lived out these cases for 2 years. You know, this is like an office. You know, it's like if you go to your office, you can go to a fax machine, or you can go to a phone, or you can go to a filing cabinet, or you can go to a storage truck. This is it. This is what we live. You know, we lived out these cases for 2 years. It is a unique world, and it's very, very unique.
Rock touring presents a jack-in-the-box effect on a massive scale.
You come in and you unload 16 trucks, which has got to be like 400 tons of equipment. You set it up, and the band play for 2 hours, you tear down, you go away, and you travel 400 miles, you do it the next day or the day after. Well, it's pretty stupid, isn't it?
Actually, it's very clever. Metallica are one of the few major bands that make money touring. 2 hours of metal madness belie 22 hours of preparation. With 300 shows under their belts, a core crew of around 100 riggers, roadies, sound and lighting technicians assembles the production with almost wordless efficiency.
Stop!
As you might expect from the undisputed world heavy metal heavyweights, there's a lot of metal around.
Just watch your fingers.
We didn't mess around because it's not at work.
Riggers bolt together the mother of all mother rigs and ride it into the air with macho nonchalance. including the women.
There's only two. There's me, I'm a carpenter with the set, and they use mirrors. They give you a hard time once in a while, but it's not bad.
With the mother rig in place, an overgrown brood begins to arrive. 19 tons of sound system, 64 3,000 watt amplifiers, 150 monitors, ready to pump out almost 250,000 watts of raw metal meltdown.
They've gone from the same place.
And its visual counterpart,
The 4 hangers for the lamp bars are in here. There's 4
installed with military precision.
FT marks. You see them on the truss? They're all on this side. Go for it.
Straight up.
The challenge for lighting director John Broderick is to choreograph moving lights, color changers, audience lights, spots, etc., so that every member of a 50,000 head-banging audience can enjoy a visual spectacle from a throw of 800 feet. Hundreds of able bodies work round the clock towards the moment when mere scrim and scaffolding become a temple to the macabre.
Empty. That's what we want. Get the show up.
What may be a diabolical din to the uninitiated ear will be subtly balanced, carefully EQ'd and deliciously demonic.
Have a little bit of the opening Sandman pattern, which might not mic in the mobile.
The bass is in stereo, but the signal you're getting is not in stereo. Okay.
Dedicated guitar techs fine-tune the £150,000 worth of handcrafted instruments. Over the 300-show tour, they will have changed every string on over 30 guitars for every show. A tour total of 24,000 strings tuned to electronic precision. And it's not just the guitars that are getting wound up.
We are going to conduct a security meeting.
This man is big in security. His name is Bob Bender.
This is Mike Richardson, Paul Delanegro.
How you doing, mate?
They're from Showsex Security here in London, and quite good at what they do.
They need to be. The global rock security business is mushrooming. As stadiums get larger, crowds grow bigger. Security is threefold: to protect the band from the fans, fans from themselves, the venue from the fans, not to mention occasionally the fans from security. Rock always was the music of rebellion.
In South America, I think we're considered a bad influence.
Though perhaps not a finely tuned political instrument, fans in Bogota, Colombia went on the rampage for unspecified reasons. In Third World Manila, Bon Jovi's rocking set ends in a riot of infuriated fans unable to afford the weekly wage price of a ticket.
Unpredictability is something that scares authorities like crazy, you know?
An authority occasionally asserts itself with an exemplary arrest of the headlining act. This is to be avoided. Controlled chaos is the name of the game.
I like to spend time with the local people going over what Metallica wants.
There's a blue laminate past a blue laminate Metallica.
However, Metallica's laminate VIP is red.
There's an orange laminate, which is the support band.
Support bands have the same shape pass, only with an orange background.
Which can't escort, right? Last week on Get Through, we had a lot of problems with guest passes. The guest passes this week are stick-on patches, and they are green and yellow.
And this pass has that privilege.
As high noon of the showdown approaches, Bob Bender patrols the security barrier. Confident that his 450 yellow t-shirts can cope with anything the over 50,000 black t-shirts can throw at them. Meanwhile, the promoter, having committed hundreds of thousands against around 15% of the net profit, dreams of a sellout gate.
60,000. Yeah, but we held some tickets back because it's one way of dealing with the touts.
The touts, who are also looking to turn a profit on their own financial commitments, part of a thriving, parallel global music industry, with its own commercial cycles of boom and bust.
There's a recession in the country. I've been buying for 10 and selling for 15, but at the moment I have an excess of tickets, so all my profit is in paper until such time as I turn it into cash.
Good quality t-shirts, Metallica, European.
Giving employment to both the bootleggers
3 different designs.
and the dedicated teams paid to pursue the transgressors who are dipping into a finite pool of leisure pounds. A pound more in a pirate's pocket is a pound less in Metallica's or its licensees. Everyone wants a slice of the pie, not least the band's management.
Probably more important than ticket sales. Yeah, I mean, it's like you can make a lot of money in merchandising.
Heavy metal fans are amongst the highest of merchandise consumers. A band's name is not only its identity and something the fans identify with, it's its legal property.
The goods in which you're trading infringe the copyrights owned by both Metallica and Megadeth. They've been seized under the Copyright Act 1988 and will be retained by the relevant merchandising companies.
This is all we do, and that's all they do. And at the end of the day, we know them and they know us.
One very happy man.
In the ongoing game of merchandising cat and mouse, it's security 1, bootleggers 0.
Guns N' Roses shirt that we seized last week. So far as the quality of the shirt's concerned.
They go, look, there's no pressure on that at all. I mean, it's rubbish. Punters do care, especially heavy metal fans, because heavy metal fans
are discerning.
They want the genuine article. A Chanel t-shirt costs you 90 quid in Harrods. Oh yes. It'll cost you £90. So it's a genuine article.
We never discussed it. He's telling me you and I have discussed it. It's not been discussed. If we had.
Metallica's security have laid on liquid refreshments for their guests.
It's for fans to drink when they get right up.
They just want to change the barrier one more time to conform to the standards here in England. Well, that buzz was wonderful, JR. If you could give me some house PA, I'd like that so we can open up.
Do we have to?
We're going to open up the house. We're going to go for it.
The fans pour in on schedule, devised by management who know their heavy metal bands.
Metallica, Def Leppard, Queensryche, Tesla.
They're gonna fucking best!
They manage most of them.
Suicidal Tendencies, Warrior Soul, Bruce Hornsby, Cash,
Programs!
Screaming Trees.
And understand the depths of fan devotion.
It's a way of life, look. Metallica! It's a way of life. It's everything and everything. That's it. Well, like, get up in the morning, turn your hi-fi on. Wheelie Boys rule!
Barbecue, growth!
T-shirts are their saints' relics. Metallica is known as a t-shirt band. At £22 a hit, t-shirts are money in the bank, counted in bundles of 10.
So what happens is when the shirts are in, you find a 9 instead of a 10 or an 11. If you find, let's do one at a time, right? If you find a 9 instead of a 10, you'll tell them that there's a 9 there and they'll give you another shirt or reduce it on their total. If there's an 11, you give it back to them, supposedly.
No one wants the currency falling into the wrong hands.
One of the beauties of t-shirts for heavy metal bands are that the record company doesn't get any piece of it. Right. This is one of your great things to stop cross-collateralization.
Though the venue gets its 25% cut. 58,000 devotees of heavy metal, having put £1 million into the collection plate and offered up a further 350,000 on talismans and icons, flock through the portals as they come to worship at the feet of their idols.
Meow! Hello!
Waiting is part of the ritual. Another part of the ritual, support bands.
limousine that I arrived in. It's a hearse. Some people might be freaked out by that, but I think my job in Wolfsbane as a full-force rock and roller, we're that close to death. Every time we play a show, it must be like the last show. It was suitable. Motorcycle escort, these guys revving up 90 miles an hour, flashing past us. We're boozing, doing outrageously illegal things all the way. It makes you feel good.
Between gates open at 2 and the end of the show, a small town's worth of people will consume 46 tons of soft drinks, 60 tons of beer, 50 tons of fish and chips, Chinese food, hamburgers and hot dogs, and suffer the consequences. The media soak up the atmosphere, reporting on a highlight of the world heavy metal calendar.
Anywhere you guys want to run, unless you're a drummer, you can go, okay? Are you ready to dance to death? Yeah.
Let's get the fucking answer.
First of a string of support bands, all from the heavy metal mold, generates a diabolical atmosphere, not easy in broad daylight. Meanwhile, it's time to reckon up. Metallica's fans have voted with their wallets. The final reconciliation, every stub counted. Meanwhile, hearty sustenance for the living. Metallica's caterers will supply 1,000 meals on the day of performance at a cost of £10,000. A far cry from the impoverished origins of an obscure underground band without management.
As usual, it's like I'm talking to people and I say, you know, what's new, what's interesting, what do people call about that is not like obvious, like, you know, Ozzy Osbourne or something like that, not big label.
Def Leppard,
yeah.
right.
And they said, Metallica. I said, well, that's interesting. So our next stop is we go to the record store and, you know, we get the Metallica album, so we're actually going to listen to it. And as we're there, two kids walk in with Metallica t-shirts.
Just really like crude t-shirts, you know?
Yeah.
Say Metallica on them.
So it's like, okay, a guy in New York says something, two kids in London have the t-shirt. So we got a tape of the second album, Ride the Lightning, which immediately to our minds is like, okay, big time, this is it, okay. They had a kind of a checkered past as far as their business dealings, and they just kind of insinuated themselves with us.
Well, hello.
It's like every day there would be like another skeleton in the closet we find out about.
Bad t-shirt deal,
right,
or
bad
an old
publishing
manager
deal, some guy shot a video and wants a point on the album, all this stuff.
How do you feel that the band and the live show has progressed?
They were so great, they're so nice, and it's like you just could never say no, and so we want to manage them.
Today, Metallica are the focus of MTV interviews, photo sessions for metal magazines, and are headlining their own tour of the world.
Oh yes, Metallica!
Even their support acts are big names in the world of heavy metal, and there's several more to get through.
Milton Keynes!
The financial rewards for many support bands are minimal. In the past, bands have been known to pay the headlining act for the privilege of playing before their crowd. Every gig must have its hangers-on, even if they're not quite sure who they're hanging on to.
All right? How you doing, ladies? All right?
It's my past from Epic Records.
And you're not on Epic Records.
Over the other side.
But Metallica's not on it.
Well, maybe it's the other one.
No, that's Metallica's
I don't care. How is it? I haven't even fixed my hair.
Support band number 3 certainly have. Their lead guitarist was in Metallica until he was deemed too wild for their superstar ambitions. He formed a subtly named rival hair band and released the philosophical album Killing Is My Business and Business Is Good. first, a swig of mineral water and a last-minute look at holiday snaps. Dusk is falling, the schedule is getting tight. No sooner are you on, but it seems someone wants you off.
Get the fuck off of here now!
Megadeth bask momentarily in the glow of a mega audience, but headliners Metallica were booked months ago for a live Radio 1 broadcast at 8 p.m, and the production manager must see to it they're on live exactly as advertised.
Was Paul playing a little too long?
Welcome to BBC Radio 1 FM. We're broadcasting to you live and direct from the National Bowl at Milton Keynes. Another couple of minutes to go.
They mustn't miss this extra audience of millions, which will stimulate British album sales over the next few days.
Tickets on sale poster 967. Mail out 29.79. Rubber stamp 32.9. 3140.
On flag, let's go!
A well-rehearsed drill springs into action. The crew've done it hundreds of times, but for this audience in this country on this night, it's a first.
I need to take a piss.
Come on then, let's have a 2-minute piss then.
Good evening, gerbs and boils.
Are you ready? Yeah, 1 minute. Jack, are you professional?
Fucking amateur, but I'll deal with it.
Single cell, how long? You got a half a minute.
Red star at 278.5. Stamps at 61.84.
Okay, let's get 6 guys downstage.
The fabled snake pit fills up, a sense-around experience for competition winners, favoured fans, photographers, and the odd record company freebie. Tech in the service of raw sound. It's live, it's before the watershed. Can management keep its promise of no bad language on live radio?
Fuck yeah, motherfuckers!
In a world of digital reproduction, MTV and slick videos, it's a rare moment for music to return to its roots.
The initial excitement for walking out onto the stage in the first place is what the fuck we're there for. The rest of it stinks. You know, it's what we've been sweating it out and losing sleep and traveling and this and that to get to.
For the 2.5 hours that you're on stage, no one can get to you. You know?
That's the great part about it, and you're out there doing what you love to do for a living.
I mean, you get in a rock and roll show, and it's visceral, it's alive, you know, and it's a tribal thing.
When we first walked out there in the daylight, and you see 40,000 people in your hometown, and you think 15 years ago you were playing the Broadfield pub, and there were 35 people there, and went out there, and it's like, wow, this is really cool.
For a writer, you build your thing up around observing the world, and fame came as a bit of a shock to me. The world starts looking at you.
Easy to get big-headed about it all.
I'll be a rock and roll star as long as I don't become a celebrity.
In some ways, I'm pretty hammy about the whole thing, and I hopefully have my tongue in my cheek in my worst moments. And you know, and at the same time, I think there's a sort of I can't deny there is definitely a sort of enlightening or transcendental experience that occurs between an audience and a performer.
I was talking to a fan who said we were a band that gave out this energy, and the audience was receiving it and then giving it back to us, and we were receiving it through our heads and channeling it through our guitars again back out at them. It's like this circle of energy going. I shouldn't neglect to say that he also told me he was on acid.
Drugs notwithstanding, how do you break down band-fan barriers?
Really wanted to fuck with the concept of arena rock. We came up with the stage was definitely different than what any other bands have done.
I.e. the Snake Pit. But who's paying for this rock and roll innovation?
Something I was a bit surprised about was us being billed for the Snake Pit. Because when we had the production meeting with Jake, he said that what I come with is what you're paying me for, therefore you're not going to be charged for anything. So I was really surprised when I saw the bill for the Snake Pit. How much was it? £7,000.
Relatively steep for the promoter on a tight margin for a few yards of scaffolding, but no doubt a priceless, in-your-face experience for the lucky few jammed in the Snake Pit.
Yeah, make some noise, man! Die! Die!
In the boys' own cathartic realms of metal, with genres ranging from heavy metal to thrash metal to death metal, there's much talk of death, but it's the last thing anybody wants, and help is on hand. Potential casualties are spat from the seething crowd like pips from a melon into another budget item.
St. John's Ambulance 5,000. What did we...
The bigger the band, the bigger the crowd, the bigger the potential bucks. In Moscow, Metallica played to a crowd of 500,000. The frustration for a successful band's fans is that popularity and proximity are inversely proportionate. The bigger the band, the bigger the venue, the smaller they appear on stage. How to relate to 50,000 people? One solution is to relate to a camera and let the video screen relate to the fans, resulting in the irony that even when you go to a live gig, you can watch it on TV. Tape the camera output and you have another source of income for the band, the live video. For those who couldn't make the gig and for those who went and want to relive the experience. The long-form video is a growth industry in itself, one of the many lucrative live performance spin-offs.
Who's got the album Kill 'Em All?
Metallica's cardboard touring chest contains 3 live videos of San Diego and Seattle, live CDs of the Mexico gig, and a mock Snake Pit pass.
So we got a lot of fucking loud fuckers here.
The £60 price tag raising questions about the band's underground credibility.
We gotta know 3 simple words right now. Seek and destroy. That's all you fucking need to know right now.
Like every other stage we've done, every other show, we've built the entire stage on day of show, including the Snake Pit, and that was just the cost. So, which is part of your touring cost, which you don't have. Well, no, it's a show cost of building the stage. So I just assumed that it would go into the show. But I hadn't discussed it with Jake.
A sense of solidarity with metal fans is achieved through an evangelical call and answer routine, essentially a sing-along. Carefully chaperoned by security. And building to one transcendent moment, the laying on of hands. Not the whole band's hands. One member, frequently the lead singer, is delegated to come down from the pulpit and press flesh. On a good day, maybe 1 in 10,000 of the faithful is touched. But by the symbolic nature of the act, a kind of concert hall communion is bestowed upon the multitude. The wafer-thin nature of the contact reinforcing the exalted status of the rock star. In a packaged, promoted, product-orientated business, live performance holds the promise of unpredictability and spontaneity. But inevitably these moments, obscenities included, are carefully scripted.
Hey, we gotta have one more crazy motherfucker. Hey, we need some crazy motherfucker. We need one last crazy ass motherfucker. Who is it, man? You gotta make it good. So drink and destroy.
So, is it alright if it goes in, or is it a big? If it's a problem,
No, I
then
was just surprised when it came through that way.
I mean, we're not making any money off of it. I know that much.
Last one, man, hurt yourselves.
What may begin as a guitar riff late at night in some hotel room ends up as a note-perfect replica live on stage.
The main riff in Sandman was just something that I wrote one night, 3 o'clock in the morning. Lars called me up and said, hey, this is a great riff.
Now reproduced through technical wizardry as part of a spectacle. Sound engineer Mick Hughes ensures night after night that thousands of headbangers can hear the raw Metallica sound over their own roars of approval.
I can't listen to music, I have to listen to the sound. So I tend to look at music in a technical aspect as opposed to in a musical content.
Lighting director John Broderick listens very intently to the music.
I'm post the music. I'm interpreting the music or lighting the music.
And the lights, like the music, are an assault on the senses.
It has to be a big visual. It has to be scaled larger than life to the size of the throw if they're 1,000 feet away. You go less for the pretty, artistic shadow and light play as opposed to the big blast.
This is mood lighting on a grand scale, whether for a hard-rocking blast or the solitary spotlight and 10,000 big lighters twinkling in unison in those lyrical moments. An infinite palette with appropriate tones.
Metallica is green. Green is a great color. And if you go out in the field in the summertime, you're going to see 50 different shades of green. There's a color called Metallica green.
And John Broderick found the perfect opportunity to use it.
To read the lyrics and you find out what the audience hears when they listen to an album.
The album And Justice for All, the song One, a dark personal nightmare with anti-war political overtones.
And every kid in the audience knows the lyrics to that song about the guy who steps on a landmine, wakes up in the hospital, no arms, no legs, no sight, no hearing, can't talk. It's sparse. There's large black spaces between the pyro loads so that you don't know where the next incoming round is coming from, just like a battlefield.
How much was police?
The police!
I'm sorry, go.
The police was £27,351.29p.
And then the last big explosion is him stepping on the landmine, and then the singer appears in a backlight in all the smoke that's just gone off. And that's the start of it. It's a real dark, somber, low light, high contrast song.
James, he's, you know, his music is his heart, you know, you don't fuck with it.
You write it like it sounds, R-I-D-E. You're on it the whole time and make it look like it sounds. I don't use random stuff. I don't use chases, automatic chases or anything like that. I like to run everything myself manually because the musicians run it at different timings every night. You know, if the energy of the band is right and I'm in tune with that.
Then the audience will get the explosive rock they shelled out for.
700 feet away, and the kids are getting a good show and it looks good to them and sounds good, then we've achieved our purpose.
The kids like up happy, shouting, cheering, you know. If you've been just a little part and parcel of putting that thing together for it, that rush comes to you at the end of the show, you know.
It's over!
For today, for Milton Keynes, for this year, Metallica have achieved their ambitions to be the biggest, loudest, longest touring heavy metal band in the world. And their crew have their own ambitions, the fastest loadout on record.
My friend Opie's out with Guns N' Roses, and the phone will ring and go, oh, I loaded out of Vienna in 2 hours and a half, so when I get there, you know that you're going to go and beat him. Okay, give me 4 truck loaders on that dock over there. Take over one of these ramps. Hey guys, let's take this one down, it's ready. Keep it on the left-hand side of the dock, please. Load that one there. Put that one on all the white cases.
Instead of me starting the kick drum thing, right away start the intro to bells like ba 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 boom.
Hey Jimmy, can you send them over to Guy? Thank you. Okay, guys, give me a couple of green guys here a minute, will you? Come here.
And then do the kick drum thing and get him going.
Just take this through the front.
Do like 3 times.
Take this through to the front. A year, you know, then the year becomes 14 and 18 months and it carries on, you know. I think the only reason we're stopped touring now, actually don't think there's anywhere else to play.
The Nowhere Else to Roam tour added a few dates. Forget sex, drugs and rock and roll. The band's off for a few hours sleep. The crew loads fast to make an early morning ferry to Europe.
You know, we did a really, really stupid run after Milton Keynes. We went from Turin to Istanbul, then we went Istanbul back to Vienna, back to Athens, you know, 1, 2, 3, 3 in a row, 3 different countries. And it really was wipeout time. You know, the crew would come up to me and say, your bloody fault, you know? You should have said no.
Forklift has just blown a hose at the front. A big one.
The stage sucks. Major league. Somebody should give us a call when it comes to designing shitholes and you're in it. Can't get any trucks in at the minute. For any reason. No cars, buses, hot dog stands, fish and chip, pizza parlor.
So Jake's happy with that.
One last quick quibble over the snake pit costs charged to the promoter.
I wasn't happy about the difference that we should have been paying and what we were being charged.
Having guaranteed the band a minimum, the promoter keeps his eye on the bottom line as the expenses tot up. From police to paramedics and roadies to runners and stagehands, the one-day show cost a small fortune to mount.
As much as what we sweat blood for.
This is what it cost Metallica to play in Milton Keynes. £366,751.11.
But the promoter's jubilant. The gross was huge.
It's the biggest single date on the Metallica tour, bar none.
2 years of these, I trust these guys.
and he will get a tasty slice of the cake.
Now get back to work, you slackers!
And off they go in the ongoing story of rock and roll folk, from Istanbul to Tel Aviv, Athens, Belgium.
It's a soap opera out here, you know? Since we've been out for 2 years, we've had divorces, we've had separations, and just this last, since Milton Keynes, a couple of people are going to get married. A couple of kids been born, you know? And there's also been, you know, things where people have died in the family, you know? So, I mean, we've seen it all. Coronation Street on wheels.
Like a soap opera, there's always a new storyline. The crew disperses, one world tour ends, another begins. Production manager Jake Berry is off like a Rolling Stone with the Rolling Stones.
And security chief Bob Bender?
I'm gonna take some time in Florida, stay with my children, and in August I have to go to Denver. There's a World Christian Convention in Denver, which I'm gonna spend some time sorting out some crowd control things for the Pope. So fucking what? Thank y'all very much. So I'm going from Metallica to the Pope in 1 month. I need a little decompression and adjustment area.
See you around, man. Maybe in a couple years. Fuck yeah.
The Pope pays well, very well.
Love y'all. Thank you. See ya.
He sells more tickets than anyone I've ever known. Huge in Los Angeles. You should have seen it. Cool. I was raised Catholic. I could look after his money.
Rock and religion may share the zealous adoration. Rock goes for the more earthly thrill.
Positively. Positively. If you feel warm and tingly down here, bingo. We did the job.
The buzz that you get by being able to actually go out and do what it is that you're supposed to be doing after spending so many countless hours doing shit that you don't feel like doing. It's a huge explosion for everybody involved.
Rock gods actually have a rather predictable 2-year cycle. Writing, recording, releasing, publicizing, then working the product globally to retain the fan base. Then doing what a star's got to do.
My purpose is just get on stage and flaunt it, basically.
When for a few hours, the strutting, preening, rock god fantasy seems a reality, live on stage.
The only thing that I go out on the road for is to be on the stage. They pay me for the other 22 hours of the day. That's a fact.
You know, there's a big difficult part on leaving your personal life behind. I personally haven't had one in 10 years, actually.
You're in it. You're in it. You don't realize that it's happening. You know, it's the focus is taken off of, wow, look what we did. You know, you probably won't really look back on that until someday when it's really over, said and done.
In the first episode of this series, reference was made to the recoupment of television advertising costs by Take That's record company. We should have made clear that Take That have consented to any such advertising and that no more than half the cost of any television advertising is met from the group's royalties. We regret any confusion caused by these inaccuracies.
Going out on the road is always fun. Visit cities, go wreck them, and leave. You know.